Carl and Tina Benson believe there's no time like the present for all of us to recognize the benefits of locally grown food. At their Rolling Fork Farm in Boyle County, the produce they grow is shared with the members of their CSA, Community Supported Agriculture.
Rolling Fork Farm is located in Forkland, which is a community just outside of Gravel Switch, Kentucky. And I think the special thing that we're doing here at Rolling Fork is our CSA. That's something that we're all real excited about growing. CSA actually stands for Community Supported Agriculture. You may not know a whole lot about CSAs. A CSA it's a way for a farm to connect with the members of a community, in our case, Danville and then the larger community in Lexington. These folks will actually join our farm. Our members will join our farm for a season, and they pay us a membership fee in the spring, and then we spend the season growing for these people. And each week we meet them in Danville or in Lexington and bring them whatever's in season.
So if you all want to sign yourselves, just kind of check yourselves off, and you can fill your own baskets.
Okay. In our CSA baskets, we have both half shares and full shares. The full shares are for larger families. Half shares are for, say, a single person or a couple. Everybody's getting cucumbers, zucchini, tomatoes from our greenhouse. These are early tomatoes, beans, peas, onions. We try to vary it as much as we can, but every week we try to put in at least 6 to 8 different items to carry you through the week.
Rolling Fork Farm is a USDA certified organic farm, which means no chemicals, hormones, or antibiotics are used on crops and livestock or to control pests. And it's clear that this is more than just a way to market their farm. It's an attitude that permeates every part of their lives. This respect for the land and care in how they raise their food can also be seen in another delicious Rolling Fork Farm treat: sourdough bread. Tina makes sourdough bread from locally grown wheat. After preparing the sourdough, grinding the wheat berries, and mixing it all up, Tina and her daughter Ada separate it into loaves. It's clear that this has become a competition. Well, at least for Ada.
Especially,
After measuring all the dough out, Tina will bake the bread outside in a specially made kiln. You don't see that every day.
a lot of times people are surprised that I'm baking bread. You know, like, oh, you bake this yourself, and they're also very interested in the whole idea of it being baked outdoors, and of course being whole grain bread. Some people are more afraid of it. You know, they're not quite sure whether it's something they want to try, because it's different from what they usually get from the grocery store. So, but usually when people try it, they like it.
We're raising laying hens for eggs, and we're also raising roasters. It's a Cornish cross chicken that we raise for about 10 weeks, and then they're sold as roasting chickens. Now with our chickens, we've decided to follow a method of raising the chickens called pasturing them. And to that end, we've constructed these pens, which can be moved fairly easily by hand over the pasture. And each morning, it's the first thing we do. We move those pens, the chickens get out there and they're feeding on the fresh grasses, the fresh weeds, and they're also benefiting from any insects like grasshoppers, crickets that are in that area. And what that does is it gives us a healthier bird. We don't have issues like coccidiosis, problems that chickens raised in a confined area would have. Our chickens are out there exposed to sunlight and fresh air, rain too, and I just think it produces a really good chicken. So much of our help comes from apprentices. The pool that our labor comes from are college kids. Once in a while we have somebody from a high school that wants to come out and work with us for the summer. And what we do is, instead of paying a high wage, we exchange our knowledge. We've been farming for 16 or 17 years now, in exchange for their help on the farm. And we couldn't do it without them. We've had several of our apprentices go on to become farmers after working with us, and it's a good feeling, just knowing that you're passing on the knowledge that we've gained over the years to these kids. I started out as an apprentice myself at 2 different farms back in New England.
Oh my goodness!
You know, I can't claim that farming is a carefree way of life, and I think that's a misconception that a lot of people have, particularly when it comes to organic farming. But for me, I can't really imagine doing anything else. In the end, it comes down to feeling like what I'm doing with my life is real. What I'm doing for my livelihood has real value to other people. And I think that growing food, and growing food without chemical inputs, good clean food, it does it for me.
There are CSAs scattered all through the state. To find out if there's one in your area, contact the Kentucky Department of Agriculture or go online to local harvest.